Now, in our last class, we created an object, we call it as T-Rex. Okay, we have a ground, and this ground is finite ground. That means it has a specific length, and that length is this output screen, which is 400. But the moment this ground is leaving this side, which is x0, we have put a condition that ground x position should be equal to whatever is the width divided by 2. So if we check in the ground, the width is 400. So 400 divided by 2 would be 200. So somewhere here in the center, your ground is resetting. Okay. So that's how we have created this illusion for the users that this is an infinite ground we have created. So it's an illusion. It's not a reality we are working with. Now, second, what we have done, we have created a condition that whenever you press the space key down, we will give a velocity in the y direction. That too, it's going upside, so it's negative 10. Okay. Now, in real life, whatever goes up, it comes down because of gravity. So our T-Rex needs to come down. So we need to create a artificial gravity effect. So if initially it was minus 10, that means if going upside is negative, to bring it down, we have to make it positive. So how can I make a negative quantity positive? If I continuously add something positive in it. So what we did, immediately after the condition, we said T-Rex velocity y will become T-Rex velocity y plus 0.8. So since this is a part of your function draw, so this statement is continuously running. Once you press the space, this part is happening. As soon as you leave the space, this thing keeps on repeating itself. So that's how when I press space, it jumps and then it comes down. It jumps and then continuously it becomes positive and comes down. Okay. And ultimately we made this T-Rex to collide against the ground. If we don't do that, what will happen? T-Rex will keep on going downside. Let me show you the effect. If I put a comment, if I reset run, my T-Rex is continuously going down. So to make the T-Rex stay on the screen, we have to make it collide against the ground. Okay. Now, while learning this game, we learned about sprites. We learned about functions like draw and setup. In draw, whatever you write, it will repeat itself. It's like a repetitive task for computer to execute. And whatever is outside is a function setup. Setup means only one time execution you want. Okay. Now, in today's class, we have to learn about concepts like what is debugging, what is indentation, okay, and how to create clouds in your T-Rex game. Okay. Now, let's start with indentation first. Indentation basically means you're talking about how well you present your code. How well you present your code. So right now, if you see in my code, in my code, if you see, it's very difficult to make any distinction between where one instruction is over, where other is getting started, where is a fresh start we have. Okay. So what's the trick? Trick is simple. Wherever your one object is over, you give some space there. Like here, T-Rex sprite is being created, animation is added, scale is done, and position is decided. After that, ground is happening. So we can keep 1 or 2 line of spaces. Similarly, for function draw, we can keep 1 or 2 line of spaces. So by giving proper space, that's your indentation. By giving proper indentation, you make your code more readable. Okay. And when it's long code, indentation is very, very important. If your code is not presentable, not readable clearly, nobody can understand what you are trying to convey. Okay. So this is about background. This talks about your ground. Okay. Till here, it's all about ground. And then till here, it's all about T-Rex and then the sprite thing. Okay. So this is your indentation. Now comes your debugging. What is debugging? First, let's understand what is bug and debug. Okay. So bug is basically any error. Okay. Bug is like any non-technical error which deviates you from your desired output. I have written, it's a non-technical error which deviates you from your desired output. Non-technical means if it's an error, it's not shown in your code. Like if I misspell it, okay, what will happen? Let's run this. A red signal is coming. It's showing me that it's a technical error. If I don't correct it, I cannot get the output. Okay. So this was a technical error. But in case of bug, we will look out for a non-technical error. That means code is executing well enough. Your output is coming, but it's not the desired output. Now let's talk about some of the examples. See. Now, if I look at my T-Rex closely, I can see there is enough gap between the T-Rex feet and the ground. Okay. Whereas in actual T-Rex runner game, you will see that T-Rex is looking like actually on the ground. There's no space between the feet and the ground. So this is one bug we have. Now, second bug, whenever I press space, T-Rex is jumping. That's good. But when it's in air, even if I press the space, it still jumps. So what happens? It gives the T-Rex a kind of flying feature, which actually doesn't happen. So this is another bug we have. Okay. I hope bug is clear to everyone. Now, next what we will do, we will find solution to this bug. So when you find solution to this bug, it's called debugging. Okay. Solution to bugs. The entire process is called debugging. Now, let's focus on the first bug, that why there is enough gap between your T-Rex feet and the ground. So what we can do as an alternative is, let's create another ground and let's call it as variable ground 2. Again, it has to be a sprite. Okay. The same X and Y I would like to use. X is 200, Y is 380, width is 400, height is 20. I will use the same. Okay. I say reset run and I can see this is the ground. Now in this ground, I don't want it to be more thicker. So let's make it as 10. Yeah, that's fine. And I want it to shift downwards. Coming downwards means I have to increase my Y position. Okay, you can see that Y is increasing when we go down. So already Y is 380. If I want to come down, let me make it 390. I can see this is the second ground. Okay, let's try 388. That's little better. Okay, now what I will do, instead of making the T-Rex collide against the ground, I will make it collide against the ground too. Now, the first ground and the T-Rex, it looks like the feet are on the ground. But I don't want my users to see this trick that a second ground is there. So what I will do, I will just make it invisible. How to make it invisible? I'll just say ground2 dot visible.
Excuse me, ma'am, you have written current.
Sorry. Oh,
Ma'am, you have
okay. Ground. My spelling was wrong. Okay, thank you. Reset, run. Ground, GROUND2. Oh, sorry. Visible equals to false. I have to say false. So now our ground2 is not visible to us. If I make it true, it will be visible to us. So only two values you can give, false or true. Okay. So our first debug is done. Now our second debug was, it should not fly. We have to stop the T-Rex flying. Okay. So what we can do first, as you can see in the console, you're getting some numbers. What are these numbers? Let's look at. In our code, we have written console.log ground.x. So it's continuously giving the ground.x value. Okay. I'm no longer interested in knowing this. What I'm interested is, what is the value of my T-Rex? Okay. So I'll say T-Rex, but not in the X direction, in the Y direction. Okay. So I'll say reset, run. So when the T-Rex feeds are on the ground, I can see the values are 359.5. Okay. And the moment I jump, the value keeps on decreasing, decreasing, decreasing. As high as I go, it keeps on decreasing. But the moment it comes on the ground, it is 359.5. Okay. So what I will do, the condition I have created, I will modify it. Okay. Now, we will discuss about and or operators. Okay. And operator symbol is, you have to put two ampersand signs, and or operator, what you have to do is, you have to put two vertical lines. That is, you have to press shift and backward slash, that is above your enter key. Okay, this is what we are discussing about now. And operator will help you to combine two conditions, which means if it's raining, I will take my umbrella and still I will go to school. So both the things are happening. Okay. If it's not raining, I will take umbrella or I will go to school. So when it's not raining, what will happen? I can take the umbrella or I can go to school, or both can happen. So or means you are giving choice, and means you're creating compulsion, restriction, that both the things to be satisfied. So in our case, first condition is key down space is pressed. Then we say check for another condition. I put and operator, and my condition is T-Rex dot Y position. Okay. On the ground, the value is 359.5. Okay. So let's say we would like to say 358. So T-Rex.y should be more than or equal to 358. So first, computer will check whether the space key is pressed. Second, computer will check whether the T-Rex Y position is more than or equal to 358. Why I am keeping more than? Because coming down is always increasing. So if T-Rex feet are on the ground, that means it's going downside. The Y velocity is downside. So it's always more than 358. Okay. So let's reset, run. Okay. I jump, but when it's in the air, I still press the jump, but it's not letting me jump in. The reason is, although I'm continuously pressing the space, my T-rex.y is getting reduced. It's not more than 358. It's always lesser than 358. So it always a false condition. Whenever it's a false condition, it will not obey the velocity part. And that's how I control my T-rex to jump only, not to fly. Okay, let me stop share. Any doubt? Any questions? All okay?
Ma'am?
Yeah?
Ma'am, in my system, your voice was breaking 2-3 minutes ago. Can you explain? What did you explain?
Sorry?
Ma'am, in my system, your voice was breaking. So I want you to explain me the things that you explained.
What part I need to explain? I cannot explain the entire thing.
No, not the entire thing. The last, the part that you just said, the colon ones.
The colon ones.
And something like that you were speaking, I was not able to hear you.
Okay, I'll explain the AND operator again. Okay, so I was explaining about the ampersand part, which means I want to add a condition. Now, when I add a condition, I have two ways. Either I can use the ampersand or I can use the OR operator. Now, with AND condition, what happens? You give a restriction. What is the restriction? Your first condition needs to be true and second condition needs to be true. But if you put an OR operator, either this is true or this is true. So you have to decide whether you want to give a choice to the computer or you want to give a restriction to the computer.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So now let's move ahead. This part is done. Now we have to create clouds. Okay. Let me see if I have animation for clouds. I have ground. Okay, let's add the animation first. So you can switch between the tabs. Code is the tab where you code, and animation tab allows you to access the animation library. You click add animation. These are the folders, whichever you want you can access. I would like to go for clouds. Let me see where I can find clouds.
We can also search.
Okay, let's search clouds. We have cute little cloud. Okay, let's use this. And okay, I don't want to edit the name. I'm happy with the name, but I'm not happy with the smile and eyes. It's like frowning face. Let's leave it. Okay. Now I want to create clouds. Let's discuss about clouds first. So T-Rex online. Okay. We all will carefully observe the T-Rex. Okay. And we will focus mainly on the clouds. Okay. Now I see the first cloud. After long time, I see the second one. Okay. And then I can observe that they are not at the same height. This height and this height is different. And they are moving from right side to the left. Okay. These are my observations. Anyone would like to add anything else?
Ma'am, they are of different sizes.
You think the cloud has different size?
No, ma'am. All the clouds are of same size.
Yeah, cactus do have different sizes,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I think cloud is of same size. Okay. The interesting part is we have to keep distance between two consecutive clouds, and every cloud should have its unique random height. That means the y component. Okay. Let's go back. Now, when you created your T-Rex, what all you required was a sprite only. You give an animation, you give a scale, and the velocity controlled inside the function draw. Okay. Whenever you have more instructions for a single object to create, the best way is to create your own function and then put the entire thing inside that. So this function draw is a inbuilt function. It is inbuilt to this platform. Okay. But what I will do is I will create a user function. User means I am the user. I am creating a function for my ease. So I'll type the keyword function. I'll give a name. Let's say we would like to call spawn clouds. Okay. Then keep a pair of round brackets, then curly brackets. Now, first thing I need is a variable. Let me call it as cloud. I need a sprite. Okay. Now, in the sprite, the X position should be on the right side. So on the right side, what is my X? It's 390 around. So let me use 390. Y position, I would like to access this height, that is 200. Yeah, 200. Then some width and some height. So it doesn't matter what width and height I'm giving, because ultimately an animation is going to cover my sprite. So let me use 10, 10. Okay. So my cloud is ready. Now my cloud should be moving, right? So I need to give my cloud a velocity. In which direction? In X direction. Now I need to go from right side towards the left side. So it has to be a negative sign. So let's say -3. Okay. Now these two purposes I have defined in my function. Okay. But how you will use this function? To use this function, you have to call the function. This entire process is called defining a function. Okay. You are telling computer what this function will do. Now, to make the computer do these things, you have to call the function. So for calling part, you take the name and the round brackets and you just put it above the draw sprites. This part is called calling a function. That's it. Okay. Now I'll say run and I can see a long gray color bar is coming. I cannot see small 10 by 10 sprite because my size was 10 by 10, right? Now, why this is happening? This is happening because my instruction of cloud spawn clouds is getting repeated in every frame. Why? Because it is a part of my function draw. Every frame you can imagine as every second, just like we breathe in and out every second. So this step is happening every moment. Okay. But when we look at the actual output, we need some gap. So we need to create a delay. Okay. This is the interesting and little, what you say, you have to give more focus to understand how the delay is being created. Okay. Now, you don't want in every frame, right? So for example, the moment my function starts, my entire code executes. That's the 0 second. Okay. From 0 second, it's like 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Now, yeah. So delay, I need to have a Word document. Let me open a Word document. Yeah. Okay. So we will start with 0 frame rate. Then it comes as 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. Like that, it will keep on going. Okay. Now, instead of looking at such a small scale, let's broaden our scale. Let's say from 0, we directly jump to 10. Then from 10, 20. Then from 20, 30, 40. Okay. You increase your scale. Similarly, go further. From 0, let's say you talk about 60. Then you talk about 120. Then you talk about 180. Then you talk about 240, and like that. Okay. So between 0 to 60 frame, I want one cloud to present. Then there should be no cloud till I reach 120. Then no cloud till I reach 180. Then no cloud till I reach 240. This is the entire philosophy which we want to communicate to the computer. Okay, how can we communicate? So this idea, first you do some mathematics. What's the mathematics? Computer can work only on numbers, right? So the moment our frame rate is 60, we want to tell computer that whenever the frame rate is a multiple of 60, you create a cloud. Okay, now what is a multiple? How computer will know that 60 is a multiple of 60, 120 is a multiple of 60, right? So what we do, we take help of division. So whatever frame rate we get, we call it as frame. Let's call it as frame count. Okay, whatever frame count we have, we will divide it by 60 and check if the remainder is 0. This is our agenda. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. In the frame count, there is 2C.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to tell my computer whatever your frame rate or frame count is, you first divide it by 60 and check if the remainder is 0. Now, how this will happen for computer? Whenever you divide a number, you have few things. One is dividend, one is divisor, quotient, remainder.
Ma'am, you have written QOU.
Okay. These are the things we have whenever we do the division. Now, dividend is the number which you divide. Divisor is the number with which you divide. Quotient is the answer you get at the top. Remainder is the answer you get after subtracting the numbers. Okay, let me show you graphically. Dividend, divisor, so in this example, you can see 75 is your dividend, 9 is your divisor. When you divide, you will get 8, and 8 will be your quotient. And whatever is left is your remainder. Okay. So according to our need, we want to communicate if the remainder is 0. Okay. So whenever you are interested in remainder, you use the symbol percentage. But whenever you are interested in the quotient, you use the symbol /. Okay. Whenever two numbers are divided and you are interested in quotient, you will use this symbol /. But if you are interested in remainder, you use percentage sign. So for example, I will say A divided by B, or basically 10 divided by 2. Computer will look out for the quotient, and quotient would be 5. But if I say 10 modulus 2, what would be the answer for computer? It would be 0, because computer will look out for the remainder. Okay. Now, same thing, I will go and code it here. So this part is my condition. I am telling if the remainder is. So what we will do, we will create a if condition. We will say if, in the brackets, you tell what you want to put as a condition. Condition is look out for the frame count. Is it hanging? One second. Let me just refresh because it's keep on hanging. Okay. So I will say if frame count, okay, percentage 60, 3 equal to signs allows you to have a comparison. So 3 equal to sign is your comparison operator. Let me write it here. Comparison operator. Okay. Now, with what you are comparing? You are comparing it with 0. Okay. Now this is a if condition. So it needs its own pair of curly brackets. So I put that, and inside that curly bracket, I put my instructions. I take this away and I put it inside. Now let's see the output. So this is my first sprite at 60 frame count, with a delay, another one, then a delay, third one, and likewise it's gonna happen. So this is how I have created a delay. Okay. Now next job is they should not be at the same height. I want random heights. So first let's choose a range. Okay. So I would like to have clouds reaching the top of T-Rex, that is 344, and this is 200. So 200 is the minimum, and let's say 340 is the maximum I want. Okay. So, and that is happening only for the Y component. So I can say cloud dot random, cloud dot Y is nothing but random number. Okay. In code.org, you pick random number. It will ask you minimum and maximum. Minimum, I can say 200. Maximum, I want to say 340. Then reset, run. So this is my T-Rex. My first cloud is at 332, then 336, then 332, 392, likewise. Okay. Randomly, my Y position is located. Now I'm
Ma'am, change the maximum one if you want.
sorry.
Ma'am, can we also change the maximum one
Yeah, that's
if it is higher?
these are in your control. Whatever you want to do, you can do. If you want to make it 20, make it 20. If you want to make it, let's say 400, you can make it 400. And accordingly, your first sprite is coming. Second, third, likewise. Okay. So I have added the animation. That's why you cannot see the gray color square boxes. Now the animation is very big. I need to do the scale. Cloud.scale is equal to, let's say 0.5. Okay, let me change these numbers. I want 200 and I want 340. I think clouds are still big, so let's make it 0.3. Yeah, now it's better. Okay, now what we will observe is when we jump, when the T-Rex jump, whether the T-Rex face is getting covered or not by your cloud. You can see cloud is covering the T-Rex face. Okay, I'll make it once more. See, now why this is happening? Because first you have created the T-Rex sprite, and after that you are creating your cloud sprite. So your T-Rex depth is lesser than your cloud sprite depth. So in the end, you have to adjust the depth. You will say cloud.depth is equals to T-Rex.depth. Then T-Rex.depth should be T-Rex.depth plus 1. This plus 1 is a factor. You can make it 0.5, whatever you want to make it. Okay. The ultimate aim is you have to just make it 1 higher than the cloud. So that's why we are making plus 1. Now the T-Rex is in front of the clouds. Okay. This is what we have done. Okay. Now, in the same way, we can do it for our cactus. Okay. But going for cactus, going before for the cactus, let's understand one more concept, which is called your memory leak. Now, what is memory leak? Like what do you think? Let me stop share. Yeah. What do you think? Computer has infinite memory or a limited memory?
Mama, limited memory.
Very good, Unnati. Anyone else want to answer? A computer has limited or infinite memory?
Ma'am, limited.
Very good,
Mama, I think
Bhaskar.
limited.
Okay, everybody thinks limited. Very good. So yes, your computer has a limited memory. You heard that 5 GB, 4 GB, 16 GB. These are all limits they are telling you, right? Now, when you run your code, in your code, your function draw is running in every frame, right? So in every frame, if condition is getting satisfied and a new cloud is getting created, that means a new sprite is getting created. And to create a sprite, we have discussed, we need variables. Variables are nothing, they ask computer to give some memory location. So if memory is limited, that means memory locations are limited. So every time after 60 frame counts, new variable is created, new memory is coming out. So a time is reached where you don't have sufficient memory left for new sprites, right? What is happening with our planet Earth? We have so much of population all across the world that it's difficult to accommodate on planet Earth. That's why we are looking out for options on Mars, Moon, and other planets, right? So say in case of computer programs, you look out for options and you try to limit the lifetime of your sprite. That means you try to limit for how long you want that memory location. Let's talk about human beings. We take birth on planet Earth. Let's say in 1990 I got born. Okay, now it's 2021. I don't know when I'm gonna die. So what is this death period? That period is what is given as lifetime to me. After covering, let's say, 60 years of my life or 50 years or 40 years of my life, I'm gonna die for sure, right? Same thing we incorporate in our sprites. So now we will give some lifetime to our sprites, so that once that period is over, your sprites will die off or your memory locations will be free. Now, how to give that memory or lifetime? Okay, so you will say cloud, that is the name of sprite, dot lifetime. Okay, now you have to calculate what is the lifetime. Now, how to calculate this? You know that it's a time, right? You are interested in calculating time. Now let's see some interesting fact on time. We have time, we know clouds are running on speed. So let's see, do we have any relation between time and speed? Yes, we do have. And what this relation says? Relation says speed is equals to distance by time. Now how to find this distance? You have a finite output screen. So cloud starts at 400. They have to cover till they reach x0. So total distance is 400. So you can use this formula. Your distance is 400. Speed we have given, I guess, -3. So you can calculate what's the time. 400 divided by 3. Okay. So your time is going to be, you can just write, it's always 400 divided by your cloud dot velocity x. Okay, so if I don't put a number, I'm just putting up the command, so that if I make changes here, the same changes will be utilized here. Okay, now I want to make this lifetime visible, so let me increase this. Let me make this as 10. Okay, so it's running very fast. Let me keep this as 3 only, and let me reduce this 400 as 200. Reset run. So the cloud is created, but it's not dying. Something went wrong. Cloud cloud dot velocity x. I put the /, but it's not dying. If I make it 3, will it die? Let me refresh. Okay, if I divide 200 by 3, what will I get? I will get 66 point something, right? Let's reset run. The clouds are not dying. Okay, I said cloud depth is T-Rex depth. T-Rex depth is this. Okay, let me take this out. And let me put this after the scale. It actually doesn't affect, but let's try this. They are not getting destroyed. LIFETIME. Let's say 30. But 30 would be too less. Yeah, now it's dying. With 30 lifetime, you can see that they are destroying inside your output section. If you keep this as 60, it's created and it's destroyed here. Destroyed here. Okay. So I can say that I have to cover till here. So it should be 400 divided by 3, which will come around 13 point something, 130 point something, 133.33, which I can take it as 132. So it's created, it's traveling, and somewhere outside this, it will get die. Okay, that's it. So this is all about your spawn clouds. And then we are left with our cactus. So I'll share this link with all of you. Now what you have to do is you have to follow this function spawn clouds and complete your function spawn cactus or spawn obstacles. That I will leave it for you. So when we meet next time, try to finish that part. Okay. And from the animation, let me add the animation also. Let's say, where can I find cactus? Okay, but it is the same cactus. Okay. Okay, I've added 3. You can add 3 more. Total 6 obstacles we need. So let's stones, rock. Yeah, we do have rock. Let's use this one, this one.
Can I also take the birds for,
Yeah, go ahead. Take whatever you want to take, okay? And use them and create your function spawn obstacles.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So let me share this link with you. When I share with you, click the link and click on remix. When you click remix, give it your name, whatever, like Manav, 6B, Birla Vidya Niketan, and keep it with you. Okay. So let me share this with you. Everyone got the link? You have saved it in your account? You can just put a, yeah?
Ma'am, like my language, it is showing me to play the game, not making my own.
Okay, when you click the link, let me click it again. Can you see there is an option called as view code?
Yes, ma'am.
Click that. And then you will get the remix option.
Okay, ma'am.
Anyone has any question from today's session? Are we all good to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This was very quiet session for me. Not many have joined, but it's okay. I hope whatever I was trying to share it with you, you have followed it. Okay. If you have any doubts, any questions, feel free to drop me your messages or to Miss Paramjeet ma'am. Okay.
So students, hope you enjoyed the session.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you must practice it later on, because ma'am is taking classes, but then she's leaving on to you to practice and to make some new games on your own also, so that in the next class you are able to convey to ma'am that you have done so and so homework. We expect that from you because, when we get so many competitions there, you need to do all these things, whatever ma'am is teaching. All right. Okay, then. Thank you, Gargi ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me. And thank you, children, for patiently listening. Okay. So I'll see you next time. Take care. Enjoy your Christmas breaks. And
Bye, mom.
keep doing your good work. Bye-bye.
Thank you, mom. Bye, mom.
Thank you. Bye-bye.